Hey everybody, it's Grant, and in today's video, we have an absolute knockout video for you. In this corner, we have Graham Stephan, a 32-year-old investor who has got a $25 million real estate portfolio, and he is an absolute guru when it comes to finance on the internet. And in this corner, we have Dave, the man Ramsey, who is getting a little bit farther along in his journey. He is an older gentleman. I think Dave's probably 60, 65, and Dave has now a $700 million real estate portfolio. The only belief that actually changes between these two that I've ever seen, and I follow them both so closely, is the fact that Graham loves debt. Dave, ew, debt's bad. So, let's get into the video. So here we are on my computer. Don't forget to power up that like button. This video is going to be awesome. Heavyweight clash of the knowledge. And then let's go ahead and zoom in on me real quick, because here's the thing. In this video, the things you're going to be able to look for. Someone that's starting out on their journey is going to be absolutely able to pick up some amazing things. In the last video, we found out the rich don't have a superpower. I don't have a superpower. Graham doesn't have a superpower. Dave Ramsey doesn't have a superpower. We do have a way of explaining things that other people could understand. We also understand because we've done it. Because you're visual and you do by learning and you do by seeing. So by able to do that, that experience allows you to be able to explain it to someone that much better. Understanding that today's video, if you haven't ever done anything in real estate before and you just think about it, you like about it, you ever even cared about it, this video is for you. In the event that you are starting to build some wealth and you're actually starting to get some traction, this video is for you. The snowball effect also goes upward versus downward. If you're able to build that snowball, you can actually go as far as an income up. That snowball just starts rolling down that hill and then it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. That's Dave Ramsey's debt snowball, but it also works out with me and Graham's building wealth snowball. So understand, you're going to learn the things that matter about not having financial ties to a bank, no leverage, and also having leverage, because Graham believes in it, Dave doesn't. And then my favorite thing about this entire video is going to be this. We also get to watch Dave Ramsey, someone's got $700 million in paid off real estate, teach us some things about how to build wealth and growth and how he's done it. And hopefully he doesn't just say, I made $1 bazillion on all these deals.
I'm an entrepreneur. This is going to work. It didn't. It didn't. It didn't. It didn't. It didn't. And then you put something out there that you kind of thought, and then it goes big. And you go, crap, I don't know nothing, you know? So you just keep at it. You just keep at it. You keep at it. And you fail.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of complicated stuff going on here. So let's really pay attention.
So this is Dave Ramsey.
It means quit going out to eat. You're broke.
Even though most people might know him as the man who hates credit cards, pays cash for everything, and tells people to eat rice and beans as a way to save extra money.
You're on rice and beans.
Just 30 years ago, he was absolutely broke. But little did he know that would eventually lead him down the path of creating one of the most successful personal finance businesses in the world. And today, Dave Ramsey gave me the rare opportunity to sit down and pull back the curtain on how he makes, spends, and invests his more than $600 million, all without using a single penny of debt. So if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more like it, including one of Mr. Beast, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and comment because...
Is that video out yet? I gotta go find it.
Because I do my best to respond to as many people as possible. And now with that said, let's begin. So can we start by talking about where your money is personally invested?
It's inordinately tied up in these properties that we're sitting in. Two 200,000 square foot office towers with a 25,000 square foot connection here at the thing, and a 50,000 square foot event center on top of the hill that's almost completed. And I've got property here, I've got 60 acres of commercial property here that we can develop 2 more office buildings on. Right now the tenant is Ramsey, and so I've got great tenants. But it's inordinately tied up in that. I mean, that
you know, if he's only got Ramsey in there, that's great, because you have a company that supports that. That's a lot of real estate for your company. I mean, you're running a major operation there, and you are, but still, holy cannoli. But keep in mind, on a smaller scale, even though this might be a big scale to you, this is on my scale where I'm currently at. I actually bought a shopping center, and I put my Main Squeeze Juice Company new store that I'm opening next week in it. You're going to see videos on that. I think you're going to really enjoy that series as well. And I'm actually the tenant and the landlord. So that way I get paid as the landlord because my business is going to do well. And that way I'm going to make a profit regardless. So it gives me another layer on why I'm doing this as far as the Main Squeeze Juice Companies. So I started doing that because I got employees, I got this. I want to also be the landlord too because I have the ability to. So it's kind of the same thing. I like that.
The valuation on that would be several $100 million. We bought the original piece of property for $10.5 million. And that was, at that time, was the largest purchase I'd ever done, and pay cash for the dirt. Prior to that, I had bought an office building that we were leasing and had the option to buy it at $5 million, and it was a 5-year option. By the time I scraped the money together to do that $5 million deal, it was the biggest deal I had ever done at that point. The building was worth $13 million. And so I desperately wanted to close on this option, but I don't borrow money, so I had to have the cash. I'm getting the nickels out of the corner of the couch to get that $5 million together, and we closed at the last minute. We barely slid
That's a lot of nickels out of that. That's a big couch. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's both.
under the door. And so that's where Ramsey was housed at that time, and a bunch of other properties that we were renting in the area. So we're spread out all over the place. So from a business perspective, we want to get everybody in one building. We start thinking about that, and now I'm piling up cash from the money we're making in Ramsey and the money we're making off books or whatever else. And I'm like, okay, we need to build a campus for the good of the thing. But I want to build the campus in a way that if someday Ramsey doesn't exist, those properties are still legitimate office buildings. So this is on a major interstate.
Speaking of books, my favorite book that they've done is The Everyday Millionaire, and it was with Chris Hogan. And honestly, I need to know what happened between the two. I need to start reading articles because I miss Good Morning VIPs. I miss Chris Hogan. I think he hurt the brand when he left. So just if you ever hadn't read the book, it's great. I have it in here along with several other Dave Ramsey's books. Super, super solid book, and it just teaches you the real journey about wealth.
I took every dollar of cash I had at the time, just about, not quite. I mean, I always leave a big cash reserve in the company, but I took everything I could get my hands on, and when 2008 happened, I bought a bunch of property.
No, you always have to see a little bit of what's coming ahead. You always have to make sure you keep the same amount of consistent cash. But like right now, I think anybody could tell you that we would either be in a major nasty recession or they're going to try and put a Band-Aid on it, which will possibly kick the can down the road. But at the same time, the same principles align. If you can't see that something's going on right now where there's no vehicles on the lot, this one's pretty apparent. 08, when that one started to happen, when that snowball started to form, that's when you started to kind of pick up on it, right? So, and if you have everything invested in the stock market, you can't have cash because the stock market's the first thing to go down because it just kind of tracks the everyday. But when it comes to real estate, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like stocks. It doesn't matter until you sell it. So if you lose 30% real estate, you're still renting that unit. It doesn't matter what the value did. It'll go back up when everything recovers. And if it doesn't recover, things are worse than we all think.
One portfolio, we bought like almost $10 million worth of stuff for $2 million. And that was just one little grouping of properties.
Wish I'd have been
lucky or timing or cash position or whatever. We dropped coin into that, and it just took off. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about your portfolio. When you buy,
I was able to buy big deals. Fire sale.
Buy something at 20 cents on the dollar for what it was worth yesterday, and it's going to be worth in 18 or 24, 36 months after 2008 before the value came back. I mean, those rates of return are astronomical.
Yep.
You can't even, the math on that just goes bananas.
1,000,000% agree.
We have to run rent analysis on it now based on its current value, not on based on what we paid for it. Otherwise, we would not charge hardly anything based on what we paid for it. So we just have to stay at market based on its current valuation.
How do you balance that with mutual funds?
I fully fund my 401k. I'll dump X number of millions, a year out of my income into there, but it's still
X number of millions. Say it, Dave. Say it. Like, golly.
But when COVID hit and quarantine hit, I got 1,200 employees. I was real glad to have that pile of cash because I don't have to lay them off like everybody else did. No debt and a pile of cash is a real peaceful way to live life.
Do you know how many income sources you have, and do you find it important to diversify the way?
He probably has 50. Like, that might even be too low. If he says 7, like, he's thinking of, like, his book selling and not the fact that he's got ebooks, this YouTube channel. Like, there's no way he has less than like 50.
I haven't worried about that, but the net result has been that I've got mutual funds that can pay. I'm 62, so I can take whatever I want.
I said 65.
I don't. It's just sitting there. And I've got real estate income. I've got royalty income off of books, and we've got Ramsey as income. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you got a whole bunch of different properties. Those are all different income sources. Even though they all fall in the bucket of real estate, but the chances of all of them simultaneously going sideways is very, very low. So, you know, an office building and a strip center are very different cash flows.
Do you have any guilty expenditures?
I don't have any guilt about it. One of the things, that, again, as we started studying and tracking with the wealthy, was that a lot of people who build wealth, especially if you didn't have anything growing up, have this sense that, oh, I just spent that on a car. I mean, I spent that on a toy car. It's not even a car I'm going to drive. It's not a daily driver, you know.
So I tell you this, you know, Dave hits the nail on the head when he says in the last video, you know, a lot of wealthy people, after paying off their stuff, didn't regret not having those notes or that debt anymore. 1,000,000% agree. You know, inventory's been so bad. I just bought another vehicle for myself, turned in my demo. I get $800 a month for my demo credit, but I'm also not, I've done well, so I'm not going to go drive something that I don't want to drive. So I want to drive something that I'm not able to drive as a demo. So I bought an Escalade. So long story short, I regret my note every time I pay it. It's stupid. I'd rather pay cash for it, but then I also need to use that cash for other things. This is that disciplined mindset to understand, like, all right, instead of paying cash for this thing or driving a used one, you know, 2006, I'm not going to do that either. I should have just stayed in my free vehicle. But I'm driving lesser and lesser nicer things, and it bothers me, you know, because I want to be able to enjoy my life as well. So I just did that. My real estate company pays for it, but I still don't love the note. I don't. That's cash flow I'm losing every month.
Spent that on a watch in your case, you know, or I spent that on I've got a lake house that's worth probably $3 million, you know, and, you know, that's a toy. It generates zero income. It's going up in value because lake property generally does. But what we teach people and what we live is ratios. And so if someone that makes, I got a friend of mine that made $20 million last year, if he buys a $200,000 car. Now, the neighborhood I grew up in, people would say stuff.
Keep in mind what he's about to say does pertain to me. I didn't make 20 million, but I did make over a few, okay? And so I'll say that because I'd love to share these videos with you, but I gotta revamp the channel when it comes to content like that. I want to get some better content for you guys as well. But I think you're watching Dave, you're watching Graham, and then honestly, you're watching me. I got a big old 65 real estate rental portfolio at 33. Oh, 33, like I think I'll be 33 tomorrow. Yeah. So hey, happy birthday to me whenever you're watching this video. But September 14th is when it is. I made a community post just because, like, I want y'all to know we're a family. So.
Like, no one should ever have a $200,000 car. That's just evil and wrong.
Unless you make 20 million.
Wrong. It's a car. You can't. Oh, let's take another one. Let's take a $200,000 income, and they buy a $2,000 car. See,
sounds like you need to leave that dude alone. So that's what it sounds like to me. Let him buy his boat, his yacht, his other things, and have some fun, right? But don't buy them every year.
And what we've noticed is people who have a good, strong spiritual walk, meaning they're other-centered, they're probably a person of faith and have some kind of faith walk, they're great at relationships, their relational IQ is very high. In other words, they have a high-quality life in addition to some net worth, right? They spend an increasingly smaller percentage of their income and their net worth on toys. You know, 5% of $1 billion gives you a really sweet life. 5% of $100,000 net worth doesn't, you know, in terms of toys. So that's what I always look at. We take a...
See, Dave's talking numbers in the billions. I talk numbers in the millions. But truth be told, I need to be talking about the 100 million because that's where I'm after. Dave's clearly after $1 billion. Dude's worth $700 million. Let him go for it. Like, you're 300 million away. Don't die, bro. Like, keep going. I'm so proud. Love to see your name on the Forbes list as a billionaire. And then you got Graham. I think Graham has the potential to be a billionaire one day as long as he doesn't slow down on his base principles. And then me, I'd like to be worth 100 million. That's my goal. I would. I think it's possible, but I'm not even halfway there. I'm substantially less than halfway there. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is. And you got to realize, like, me, Dave, and Graham don't just have this sitting in a bank. We have this sitting in properties. We have this sitting in our stock portfolios. And so, you know, it's an interesting outlook to watch us three watching this video, doing this video, them watching it, me watching it, and them talking about it to add little tidbits here and there.
I'm going to set my fund money over here, increase lifestyle. No guilt whatsoever. I'm going to increase my generosity over here, increase my investing over here, and so on. It's already done. I don't even think about it because I've set those percentages. And so the percentage of my net worth that is tied up in vehicles, for instance, of any kind, things with motors, it's 1/10% of my net worth or something, not even. But I still got really nice cars. You know.
Could you give us an example? I want to hear, like, what's your favorite? If you're to pick, like, the top two, top three,
man.
what do you...
Top 3 to 5, I'm okay with listening to there, Graham. Let him tell us, bro.
I was born in 1960, and so I bought a 1960 Corvette. Frame up retro.
Sexy.
That is, it's sweet. So I've got on.
I really hope this is his garage. I don't know that. No, it just says for sale. Oh,
Lift in the garage and I park under it, but I drive it some, but it's an eye catcher.
What have you noticed the
No
differences
more!
between Deck and Mill?
see, that's the only time I ever want to hear about people's cars. Whenever it's like, you're successful, tell me the things when you're not a big money spender. Like, for instance, I sold all my watches in 2020 and I bought this one. So like, and this is the one I bought years later along with the other, one more, because I just needed a watch to put on my wrist to enjoy it. I don't have to feel better, but just to make I love the feel of a Rolex. I love walking around with one. It makes me happy. I just bought 2 Pateks and I'm probably selling them. I'll make a video on that if you guys want to see it. But like, Graham thought that was the coolest thing ever. Me and him really had a great conversation on good talking pieces, but I am just the caretaker of these items. You offer me $200,000 for my McLaren? Buy McLaren. Bye-bye.
Millionaires and billionaires, besides the money, because you were talking about doing studies now on billionaires. And I'm kind of mentally thinking through it, and I think to myself, you have to be close or getting to that point.
Well, if you look at the Forbes 400, they're all billionaires now. When you start studying through those guys and gals, you find almost all of them grew some kind of business.
Yeah.
Almost none of them did it purely on investing. I mean, you can't put enough in your 401k to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
It's mathematically.
Yeah, you can't save your way to being a billionaire, just so you guys know. You have to create something or be fortunate enough to be Dave, to do the building blocks of real estate, starting a company. But he started a really good company, but not a $1 billion company. It might be a $1 billion company, but understand, like, he's not going to be Facebook. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. When we start talking about billions and stuff, it's kind of like somebody that's got $10 in their bank account talking about millionaires. It's all relative. Think about it like that. Because if you want to be a millionaire, you know, it's easy. First, you got to save 10 grand. Then you got to do that same thing 10 times, save 100 grand. Then you got to start really investing that money and then do that 10 more times. And then there you go, right? It's just, you think about it too much. And Graham has a video that we might watch in a future episode as well here on my channel that says something about creating a millionaire's wealth.
Smash the what button?
The like.
Oh, there
Tell
it
them to
is.
smash
Okay.
the like button.
Okay. Smash the like button and subscribe.
Power up the like button and subscribe to Dave Ramsey's channel, Graham Stephan's channel, and if you like to, mine as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I promise you there was things. You should go back and watch this again, whether it just be theirs or me with them. There's going to be information shared. It is great information. I hope you understand that I believe in you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later.